Every one of us has goals and dreams, things we'd like to do in our lives. People we care about and want to provide for. When someone comes to me because they want to be more successful, I feel a responsibility to that person.
We really want people to be successful as we're developing software or doing anything in our business as coaches. Chris and I are all about opening up opportunities for people. We want them to be successful. We're thinking through the entire process. When they're successful, we're successful.
It's my job and my mission to help that person realize their dreams.
You know, there's a saying, if you don't know where you're going, how do you know when you get there?
I've realized that some people can talk about real estate, but not many people can actually teach it in a way that others can learn. And this is where I saw that I have a gift, and I wanted to share that. And that was very exciting to be in that type of atmosphere.
You know, over the years, I believe there's a lot of people, coaches I should say, that have come on the scene in real estate, and I think that they have given the industry a bad name. And I know that Chris's passion and my passion is to actually change that perception in this industry. We want to be one of the good guys. This is a real business. It is a very profitable business if done the right way.
When I was 12 years old, my dream job was to work on airplanes. Grew up in Northern Virginia, small town called Sterling, Virginia, and finally got a job at the age of 14 years old inside the Washington Dulles International Airport, and I was one of the cooks. And I got to see airplanes every day and just really fell in love with being around airplanes, and I knew that that was what I was destined to be.
The first thing he did was start training people. It seemed like he hadn't been there but a couple of months, but he already had it down pat. His biggest thrill, besides showing people how to do things right, was he got to take the trash out. And in taking the trash out, he got to touch the Concorde.
And went through college, got my degree, got my license to work on airplanes, and the airline industry was down. So I couldn't get a job with something I was truly passionate about. And so it was very disheartening. Here I've wanted to be an aircraft mechanic all my life, and to find out that I go through school and I can't get a job. So I said, what am I gonna do? And I decided to go into the Air Force. Boot camp was a little different and mind-blowing. It was definitely a wake-up call on what our armed forces really do for us on a day in, day out basis. And I became a crew chief working on a fighter bomber plane.
He was trained as an F-111 crew chief, but they changed the base from the older F-111 to the newer F-16. And they pretty much didn't have anything for the F-111 crews to do. So I think that's the major reason. They said, well, does anybody that's an F-111 crewman want to leave soon? And he did.
He started working for United, and it was his dream job, working on airplanes, but dream job didn't pay what it needed to pay. Chris has always been a great guy, a great friend, somebody that I can trust. He's a marketing genius. He's helped me with my business, helped grow it.
And Chris all of a sudden kind of fell in love with real estate.
All right. How's everybody doing? Good. That was kind of weak. How's everybody doing? Oh man, did you feel that? See, it just feels better, doesn't it? My name's Chris Goff, and I started back in 1998 in Northern Virginia. So I started hearing about this real estate stuff, and I went online and I saw Carlton Sheets, and I ordered his program. Anybody order Carlton Sheets program? Just a couple of us. And I went through that program and I was totally confused. I didn't know what to do, where to begin, but I went ahead and started anyways. It was something in my heart that I said, I'm going to do this. I can't see the end result, but I believe in it. I saw people doing it. I should be able to do it. And I knew I can't be that dumb, right? I mean, I've got to be able to figure this out.
His first deal was a lease option. Unfortunately, he didn't have the money to complete the deal, so he asked me for $2,500. Back then, that was a lot of money. I asked him, what's the money for?
And of course, I messed up the contracts where I had to give the seller some money down, and it was $5,000. I didn't even have $5,000. I had $2,500. So I called one of my best friends, Carlos, and I asked him, could I borrow $2,500 to make this deal work?
You know, when it all came down, I got my money back. So that was it. But I was more than happy to help him out.
Thank goodness, although I messed up the contracts, we broke even on it. One thing that I took away from there is that you just can't rely on one strategy. I see a lot of people out there, they get into real estate thinking, I'm just gonna buy or rent, or I'm gonna wholesale. I'm gonna do one strategy. And what we found out is, although that's great, it will pay your bills, but it's not gonna make you wealthy. You need to have multiple profit centers coming in all the time, and that's what we're gonna. Basically, I started doing real estate. I started to go out trying to find properties that were vacant, and actually mowed yards part-time just until I could get the deals going. And it took me about 3 months to do my first deal. And I remember that day very clearly. I made $4,000 doing the real estate deal, and I tell you, I was hooked. That led into 46 deals my very first year in the business. Went to visit my mother in Pensacola, Florida, and just fell in love with it. Fell in love, couldn't believe how beautiful the beaches, the water was, and I decided to move my business to Pensacola. My brother had called me, and he was going through a divorce, and he said, can I come see you? And I said, sure. So he traveled to Pensacola and came and saw me, and I asked him, I said, what do you want to do? He said, Chris, I love teaching, the passion of teaching. So we started to look online and noticed that there were several education companies that were looking for speakers. They were doing an event in Fort Lauderdale, and they asked me to just show up and watch. So they flew me down to Fort Lauderdale. There were probably 100 people in the room, and it was just a big show in teaching people how to invest their money in real estate. And I kind of dressed the part, didn't want to look like the oddball there. And what I noticed was on breaks, people would come to me and ask me questions about what they were learning. And I would answer those questions, and started to build a relationship with people there at the event. And they were obviously promoting some high dollar coaching programs. And people came and said, we're very interested, but we want Chris to be the coach. And I'm like, I don't work here.
People would ask him, how do you do that? You know, how are you doing that? That's really cool. So he would help someone. It was immediate, after that event, there was no interview, it was like, we can't have you not work for us.
A few months later, they gave me a call and said, hey, we would love to have you too.
I said, Chris, this is something that you have to do, because I know that's really what he was made for. I have not ever met anyone with a more solid, driven work ethic.
I always tell my students, you just need to start right. Because I see so many people, they start wrong.
I've always been kind of on again and off again in real estate, and not exactly just full time, because I have other businesses that I do own and have to run. But, me and my wife are like, we really want to get into real estate more. We wanted to diversify a little bit. So we decided to either lose money not knowing how to do real estate, or we decided to get educated, find a mentor that can walk us through this process. We didn't want to make the financial mistakes that a lot of people can make that could ultimately lead to bankruptcy. So we went to a seminar. went to an educational boot camp, and that's where we met Chris Goff.
Met a student, Bo Manry, and he wanted to learn how to invest in real estate. I became his coach, and I flew in to his hometown, and I walked him through all the obstacles and what to look for, and actually how to physically do the business versus just reading a book and learning about it. We really became friends during that relationship and had no idea that we would actually be going into business years down the road. And here's Mr. Bo Manry, co-founder of REIPro.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Bo Manry. I am the co-founder of the REIPro software. I currently live in Peachtree City, Georgia. I have sold countless numbers of products, different types of products, everything from horse saddles to checks to doormats. I mean, I've really sold just about everything, I think. And all of my companies are online. I've also been able to become a best-selling author, and I am an expert in online marketing strategies. I'm also a Google AdWords certified specialist.
Bo he's about the most resilient, motivated person I've ever met. He keeps focus, and even when I'm ready to say I'm done, he's like, no, just come on.
Anything that comes up that gets in Bo's way, he's gonna figure a way to succeed in whatever he tries to do. Bo has always been a fighter about anything he pursues.
I like to title this story, When Life Takes a Turn Left on You. I woke up one morning and my right arm was completely locked out. And so I got up, took me a few minutes to kind of get going again. Didn't really think a lot about it, went on to work, and the next morning, same thing happened. And the third morning, not only was it my right arm, now it become my left arm, completely locked out, and it's taken like 15 minutes to kind of work it out and get it going. It's very excruciating pain, but that really became the norm for me for a short period of time until I decided to go to the doctor and realize, this isn't working. I gotta work. I gotta do things.
I could tell that things weren't quite right. He was real stiff and had a hard time, moving his arms sometimes. It got to the point where he started losing a lot of weight, and it was hard for him to get up out of a chair. It was hard for him to brush his hair, tie. He, I think, at one point got down to about 108 pounds.
Believe it or not, that was me not even at my lowest point. I did not even know this until yesterday. My father was like, I've seen a lot of cases, and I thought we had about a month left.
They were treating Bo for 3 years like it was rheumatoid arthritis till this doctor he went to somewhere in Atlanta actually found out it was called a condition called scleroderma, and that's a condition that they say turns your body to stone.
Having scleroderma taught me a lot of things. Number one, it gave me a different outlook on life. I knew that I could not tie my tie in the morning. My wife had to do that for me. I knew that my roommates in college sometimes physically would get me out of bed because I was not strong enough to even get up. I knew these things, but I just never let it bother me. I just go on about my day. Since then, now it's gone up to the low side of normal. I'm a kind of a miracle. Medical miracle is what the doctors say. I've kind of beat everything they've told me that would happen, did not happen. And I believe, in my opinion, it's because of your attitude. I never let anything get me down. I make the best of the 86,400 seconds of every single day because we don't know how long we're going to be here. So the point of me telling you this story is you're here for a reason this weekend, whatever that reason may be. You want to be a real estate investor, or you are a real estate investor and you need another tool in your toolbox. Well, I don't want to hear an excuse on Monday morning that I can't do it.
I've always dreamt of creating a tool that will really speed up the success of students in that learning curve that we go through. Bo wanted to develop a software to help simplify his local investment company. He came back and said, we need to get together and do something together. I kind of took from the real estate and the teaching side and the experience over here where he took the online and marketing side and the software development, and we came together and we created a concept called REIPro.
It is a step-by-step system. It's pretty much a one-stop shop. I mean, when I find a property that someone has suggested to me or that I found myself, the first thing I do is I pop it into REIPro, and that will give me all the bare bones of the property. It will tell me when it was built, the square footage, who the owners are, what the tax history is. I can take that same house and say, okay, within a 5-mile radius, tell me what the other houses have sold for. Not what they're listed for, but what they've actually sold for, which makes a huge difference.
The key to real estate is what I call our executable step system, and it's the physical things you have to do in a specific order to make something happen.
This whole process has been built into this software for that beginner. Now along that way, we put a lot of advanced tools for people who are already in real estate. So if you're an advanced real estate investor, this provides you with tools to where it makes your job faster and easier, such as pulling comps, reviewing properties, finding the phone numbers. All those are not only beginner tools, but they're also really advanced tools. Our job was to make the software intelligent enough, yet easy enough to use, such that the beginner and the novice can use it.
This system has been a work of art over the course of 2 decades. This is a constant. We're always trying to improve our teaching style, from our methods to our systems, and more importantly, the workflow of how real estate should be done with a changing market.
We took it from being a small idea to now a national product that's just sweeping the country.
There's a lot of filters here. You can search by city, counties. You can put multiple counties in here. You can search by bedrooms, baths, square footage.
The system worked great. The way he has the executable steps is great. None of the other real estate people teach you what to do. They say, go out and buy real estate, go out and do it, you can do it. But they don't tell you any meat to the process. He teaches you, when you go and look at a property, it may not just be, oh, I'm just gonna buy it outright. It may be, oh, well, I might wholesale this property, or I might lease option this property, or I might seller finance this property. So he gives you the knowledge to make multiple deals or multiple offers on one property. And when you have that capability, then it gives you a lot more flexibility on what to do with that property, how to buy it, how to obtain it, but also what is your exit strategy.
People ask us, how much do you need to know to be able to do what you guys do? And we tell people, and they don't believe us, but we tell them, no, you do not have to be a realtor, you do not have to go to real estate school to do what we do. Our mentor has equipped us with all the tools that we need, and we're very excited about that. Another one of the beautiful parts about attending their seminars or their sessions, when you go to other seminars or other sessions that I have been attending, the first thing they want to do is to try to sell you or upsell you. That's not what you receive when you walk into one of Chris and Bo's sessions. You walk in and they are giving you full-on information day one, and you can apply it and be successful.
I can find properties in REIPro. It has another module in it that's called REIPro. I can go to the REIPro module and I can look for foreclosures, I can look for auctions, I can look for properties that are non-owner occupied, meaning they've got houses but they don't live in it. Maybe those could be potential people to look at. Maybe they're sitting on a house that they inherited, they don't necessarily want. No, it's not in foreclosure, but no one ever really asked them, do you want to sell your house? You can work all of that right within REIPro. You don't have to go to multiple pieces of software. Just that one will give you everything that you need to work a house from beginning to end.
All right, we found this property sitting vacant for 6 years. Flooded, its trees, could barely see it back here. So it was apparently vacant. So we found the owner by calling them and asked if they wanted to sell. They did. We went ahead and purchased the property at good numbers. As we move to the front, the one thing we noticed with this particular property is the front deck was extremely small. So we knew we had to add on to it, but we had to do a small deck. Otherwise we'd have to change the roof line and extend the roof out. So this would give it the presence of more of a welcoming feel to a homeowner that's gonna end up buying it. So as we come in the main room here, one of the first things that we noticed had popcorn ceilings. So that's kind of out of date. We need to bring it up to 2016. So the first thing we did was actually scrape all the ceilings, removed all the flooring, and really started gutting the property out. So as we move into the kitchen area, the one thing that we wanted to save are the cabinets. The cabinets are actually in really good shape. I think a lot of people think that they need to replace them because they look old. There's actually some really cool painting tricks that we can do to the cabinets and actually save the cabinets. We'll then be putting in all granite countertops, hardwood floors inside the laundry room. We're actually going to go very different in this laundry room. It's going to be built-in cabinets with backsplash with a silver ceiling and a nice ball drop-down light fixture. It's really going to make it feel like a laundry room. One of the keys to being in real estate is understanding how to find the deal. And that's kind of an art of how you actually find the deal, how you communicate with the owner. We've developed formulas on how we actually make cash offers to homeowners that we've been using for years. We buy this property for $150,000 and estimated rehab costs right now are going to be around $70,000, and the total value of this we're thinking is selling it at $349,000. So it's a very profitable business to be in, but you have to run the numbers right. You know, you have to fall in love with numbers, not houses. That's really the key to this business. We're now going to provide a home for a good family, doing it the right way, and it's going to help appreciate the value of the neighborhood and keep the growth going.
Chris and Bo are very genuine. They're not out to just make $1. That's not their only focus. They really do care about people. We're helping people out of situations that they otherwise don't have solutions to. We're helping people who can't sell their homes. We're helping people who don't have the credit score they need right now to buy their home. We're giving them other options. So it makes you feel good about what you do.
What we set out to do was build a system that encompasses everything that a real estate investor needs. It's not about just finding deals, but you have to know how to construct the deal, you have to know how to talk to the sellers, know how to put the contracts together, and ultimately you have to know how to close the deal. So we want to be a one-stop shop for the real estate investor, build a set of tools that they don't have to go anywhere else.
You know, they say that you're only as good as your word. Well, Bo is the actual poster child for that. Bo's the best person on earth. He has more determination and drive than anybody I know. He can type and code faster than I can think. To be around Bo, you know you're only going to go at one speed, light speed.
There's that tight-knit sense of family, but they have these big ideas that spread in a massive way, being able to teach people how to learn the industry and give them tools to empower them to make a switch in their life.
How many people are just getting started? See, that's good. You know why I love that? Because you have no bad habits yet, okay? I always tell my students, you just need to start right.